Usually you'd feed mealworms to your lizard, but when I went to the pet store and saw 25 of these things crawling around in a really small space, I started to wonder what would happen if no one ever bought them. Would they change and turn into something else? How long would they even survive in that sad, tiny container? And then I thought about what would happen if I actually did buy them. I thought, maybe I'll buy them, take them home, give them a nice setup, and let them live without being fed to another creature like a lizard or to a plant like a Venus flytrap. And that's when one thing led to another, and somehow I really did convince myself to leave the pet store with them. I was really curious to see what they would even turn into, and then it hit me, and I realized the possibilities here could be endless because once they hatch into whatever they hatch into, then they'll likely mate, lay some eggs, have babies, and with 2 generations of these creatures, then I could build them a really epic new breeding house with my 3D printer. And that's when I became really committed to this process with my new mealworms because I had a plan and I was all in. And spoiler alert, this is actually exactly how the story ended up turning out, and I'm so excited to tell you about it and show you everything. I never imagined so many insane changes could happen all in the span of just 8 weeks. But that's really all it took for these worms to morph, shed, pupate, emerge as adults, and then mate and have hundreds of babies. Well, let me first start from the day I brought them home. That day, 2 months ago, I immediately opened up the container and started examining them. I wondered why some of them were wiggling around and didn't look like mealworms anymore, and frankly, I was really excited to find out exactly why. I got a little house. I figured I'd experiment and start with this one first before building them a home in a 10-gallon tank. I blended up some oats, poured them inside as bedding, and then I put all the worms inside. This was the one that I was really curious about. It was moving like crazy, so it was clearly alive, and the brown skin looked like it was shedding, but I couldn't see any eyes or legs, which was confusing. I wanted to see what would happen if I peeled the brown skin off, and surprisingly, it came right off and revealed a long white bug that sort of looked like the other one wiggling around, but just longer. And I soon realized that this was actually the pupa, and it's the stage right before the mealworm hatches into the adult form. At this point, I still didn't know what they would turn into, but I'll give you a hint: a creepy crawler with a lot of legs. So once they were in their new initial home, changes started to happen, and fast. The first day, they still looked like worms, but by the second day, they were shrinking up. And by the third day, they didn't look like worms anymore at all. They started to shed a wrinkly layer of brown skin, exactly like the one I peeled off that worm on the first day. And for 10 hours, they wiggled their way out until they revealed themselves as a pale white, very defined, weird little creature, the pupa. And this was only day 3. So many of them already started to transform, and honestly, it was crazy. One by one, they wiggled their way out, and then after 5 hours, they changed more. They went from this white color to a darker brown color, and for 5 days, they stayed like that, flipping themselves back and forth continuously. Something was being rearranged in that pupa. And as they all started to transform, you could see more layers of brown shrunk up skin all around the enclosure, until most of them went from a worm to a pupa, and we were left with only about 5 worms. I was really curious to see what they turned into after this stage. Would they then become adults? Well, by day 6, my questions got answered. I noticed that the dark pupas started to get even darker, and it almost looked like there were little arms getting more and more defined as each hour passed, maybe even a set of eyes, and I was amazed to see another version of this creature finally emerge from out of that dark pupa and into that creepy crawler I was telling you about. It hatched. It's actually called a darkling beetle. The good thing is they can't fly, and they have a hard time climbing upright surfaces. I noticed that at first it emerged as a paley pink soft-shelled bug, and it stayed pale pink for about 5 hours, crawling around until I started to see it miraculously changing into a brownish blackish color with a harder shell. And hour after hour, more and more started to transform. Remember, this was still only day 6, so a ton of changes were happening and fast. So as they transformed, I started separating the adults from the pupas just to make sure they didn't go all cannibalistic on each other, and I noticed immediately that they were getting real up close and personal with each other, and that must have meant they started to mate, because they were all crawling on top of each other and having a party, and well, I guess that was the sign that they were mating. It was cool to see that some were darker than others, but as time passed, eventually they all transitioned into a darker color with harder shells, and that was the full adult form. Of course, I kept a close eye on the ones that still didn't hatch, making sure to bring the newly hatched beetles into their new home and leave the ones that hadn't hatched to hatch in peace. And I got some food for them because I thought with them being newly hatched and then starting to mate, they must be hungry. I started with a piece of apple, food that could also be their water source, and they seemed to like it. They munched on it quickly. Then I tried a cucumber, and although they did seem to like it, they seemed to like mating with each other even more. And this is where I thought about that next phase of their home. Since they were all now adults and mating, surely it was safe to assume that they would all get pregnant soon, and they would need an upgrade to their current home. I wanted to build them a totally epic breeding space that they could safely have those babies in. Before I knew it, by week 3, we were down to the last 2 that hadn't hatched into adults yet, and we had more than 30 beetles roaming about. I oddly felt like a proud mother, and I really did have a vision for their new home, but I wasn't sure exactly how to bring it to life, and to be honest, 3 weeks ended up passing and they were still roaming around eating and mating in this little plastic container. But every day I would think about how I need to figure out how to build an epic space for them. The only problem was, how exactly could I do it? So I ever so casually went to check on them, and that's when I noticed movement at the bottom of the enclosure. And surely oats don't move by themselves. So upon a closer inspection, I moved some of the bedding aside, and I was completely shocked to reveal what looked like hundreds of tiny worms crawling around at the bottom.
There's so many of them. Look how cute. Oops, sorry, buddy. There you go, buddy.
And I realized that in just 8 weeks, my goal of letting these creatures live actually seemed like it paid off, because these pet store beetles had shed skin, morphed into a pupa, emerged as adults, then mated with each other, and then really gave birth to so many babies. The fact that I was excited was an understatement. I was absolutely ecstatic to see how insanely cool this whole thing was. Those ladies really must have laid a lot of eggs. I could not believe how many worms there were. I wanted to see if I could find the eggs and see them up close and personal, possibly even watch them hatch, so I moved the beetles into a separate enclosure.
When you pick them up, they like freeze. There you go, buddy.
Fed them some apples. Those beetles, they were still mating every step of the way. That's basically all they do now.
No idea what's going on there.
And then I started looking for eggs. I wasn't sure what they looked like, but I couldn't see them with my naked eye. They're said to be like a period at the end of a sentence. So I got my microscope out and started looking for them even closer. I kept seeing these transparent little balls, tinier than a speck of dust, and I was able to separate a few of them and get it under a time lapse. So we'll see what happens and if we can watch the actual worm hatch from the egg or not soon. To be honest, I'm still not even sure if that's the egg, but it's the only thing under the microscope that looked like one. So let me know what you think. But I also got some footage of the tiny worms under the microscope, which was awesome. They were eating and roaming around. So after the search for the eggs was done, finally I put my 3D printing hat on and got to work on building their new enclosure so they could get out of that little plastic container and into an epic house. So I drew up a sketch of what my vision was, and I asked ChatGPT to make me 2D images of everything I wanted to print. And then I used AI to turn those 2D models into 3D objects that I could print. And once I had all my STL files, I sliced them, converted them into G-code, and started printing. Print after print, I started to get excited, but I still needed to figure out how to actually set the enclosure up with all these new items. I printed some pieces for the backdrop, a bridge for them to walk on, ramps, some leaves, a little house they could seek shelter under, and I secured the leaves on top, some trays for their living spaces with exit holes that they could easily walk in and out of, some logs, one big food bowl, and then I got a 10-gallon tank and started assembling it all together. First, I blended recommended some oats to act as their bedding, which has worked well thus far, so no need to change that. And then I added their living quarters, then the bridge, the little home with the leaves on top. I added some oats inside the living space, their feeding bowls, some logs, more leaves, ramps, everything was coming together. All I had to do now was add my beetles into one tray and the wormies into the other. So I got my beetles, gave them a little pep talk to let them know how much better their lives were about to get, and how if they were wondering why I took their babies, they're about to see them again. And then I started placing them inside. One by one, they entered the chamber, roaming around, exploring everything. And once all the beetles were in, then I added the worms into the second living square. Immediately, the beetles started roaming over to check out their babies. There was a lot of movement with those worms, and also a lot with the beetles. They were eating, exploring their new home, hanging out. They even brought their party back over here because, like I mentioned, all they do is mate. And it really felt like they liked the new space. The only issue that I ran into was that they were able to climb the wall that I made. So I had to take that out because I don't want them getting out of the enclosure. And now they have a huge space to have even more babies. The last thing I'm waiting for is for those tiny baby worms to grow bigger and go through their life cycle again. The worms from the pet store were huge, but these ones are very tiny. So I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'll definitely keep you updated along each step of the way. But I realized that my goal of buying worms from the pet store, giving them a nice setup, and letting them live actually led to a way bigger experience than I ever could have imagined. And with all of these new babies, it'll be cool to see how long we can breed them for. All I know is that the pet store also sells other worms that I can go check out.
There's so many of them. Look how cute. Oops, sorry, buddy. There you go, buddy.